with a few slides, then I'll let you. So while people are still joining, so welcome everyone to first user group this year. So probably we are continuing. You get to know us that we are going pretty much every Wednesday this time and with a lot of guests. So stay tuned. Go to our YouTube channel for all the recordings of previous meetings. See on Meetup what's coming, or check it on LinkedIn. Host, as always, today I'm with you here. So I'm Augustin. Christian will host the next week meeting, so he wasn't available today. But hopefully we will have a lot of things this year, so everybody can find something for himself. So what's coming from next week? So next week, Wednesday, Rishi Sapra is joining us for building an income statement. After that, colleague from Microsoft, Rui Romano, talking about APIs. Then Alexander, beginning of talking about untruthful art of data. And new thing, what we are starting and what we are coming in with is Data Jazz on Tuesdays. Myself and Nikola Ilic, aka Data Mozart, will go live on YouTube every first Tuesday of each month. So starting on 15th of February with Chris Webb. So stay tuned. We'll be posting a lot of things on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you want to follow it. So lots of things coming. So as I said, knowledge is free, just you have to pay attention. But not to talk too much today, because we have our main guest. You already saw it. Avi is here. Avi, welcome. And he'll be talking about what can you do to improve your career. Avi, welcome. Glad to have you here. And
Thank you.
hopefully people can learn a lot today.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So at some point I can start sharing my screen, right?
You can share it immediately. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. So I'll do my kickoff slide. All right. You guys should be able to see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
And how do I? Hold on. I like to see the chat if I can. Yeah. There we go. All right. Hey, usually I ask people to tell me where they're joining from. I guess, maybe that's not as interesting question, but yeah, just if you don't mind, just type in hi in the chat box, as Augustine said, that knowledge is free. But are you paying attention? So yeah, let's see if you guys are paying attention. So I'll admit that sometimes I feel like a totally odd one out. Oh, we do have some remote visitors, one from Monterrey, Mexico. So, because I feel that the whole world is talking about tech and all this stuff. And hey, trust me, I love tech. I love Power BI. But I feel there's more to it, right? I feel that it's not just about the tech. What I really want to help people is to help them with their career. Because sometimes I say that it may sound controversial, but that nobody needs Power BI. People want to solve their problems. So companies want their business problem solved, and people who are trying to learn Power BI, they want to have a successful career, right? So great. So we got wow, we have a lot of folks. So Juan, hello. David is here, of course. Bradley from Chicago. Arthur from Ghana. Jay from London. Jim, Amsterdam. Andrew from Bergen, Norway. Roman, Frankfurt. All right, awesome. So folks, yeah, hopefully this will be um, this is the best value that I can provide you. I mean, this is beyond the tech. Anybody can teach you tech, right? I mean, there are lots and lots of teachers, but I don't think people are talking about this enough. So before we even dive in, I want to. So again, the topic is how niching down can help you go big, and we'll talk about that. But let's just pause for a second. I would like to hear from you that why is it important for you? And of course, the last time I did this, people asked, what does big mean? Well, so it's it, yeah, you're looking for some success, and I hope you have a metric of success in your mind. Why is that goal important for you? I would love to hear from you. Why is it important? Why can't you just, um, like my dad's age, you put your head down, you got a desk assigned, and you pretty much work there till you retired. We don't live in that world anymore, thank God. And of course, none of us want that world. So I would love to hear from you. Why is it important for you? Whatever your goal is for the Power BI career, what is that? Why is that important to you? Just type it in. So I'm gonna wait for to hear from some of you. Oh, wait, I have this prompt here too. Maybe I'll get out the big one out of the way. So money, and I grew up in India, and somehow there's this growing up. There were all these different sayings which seem to imply that money corrupts, money is evil. I watched a lot of Bollywood movies growing up, and in the Bollywood movie, the villain was always a rich guy, and the protagonist, the hero, was always this, some poor chap on the street fighting the fight. So, but money isn't good or bad. Money, as I like to think it just usually amplifies who you are. So if you're a good person, you're going to do good things with money. If you're a jerk, well, it just makes you a rich jerk, right? So yeah, all right. So Juan is saying support my 3 college age with kids. Great family, love it. Yep, I got 2 kids of my own. Career with opportunities. Andrew, tell me more. What is the opportunity you're looking for? You're looking to learn more. You're gonna grow more. You want to experience different things. You want to travel. What is it? Let's hear from one other person at least. So yeah, I know folks, you're here. I would like to, yeah. So I want to make this a bit interactive, hopefully. So James is saying to advance in providing analytics to meet expectations. Great. Yeah, that's good. That's still, it's okay to be selfish for this question right now. Like, what would it give you if you were able to get there? What would that give you? And it may sound a little weird, but sometimes it's easier to latch on to the feeling. Sometimes, we don't really know what a goal is. So we think that, oh yeah, that's what I want, but then you get there and they're like, oh shit, this is not what I want, right? So yeah. But if you can zero in on the feeling that I want to feel like I'm in control. I want to feel at peace. I want to feel free. I want to feel happy. Right? So yeah, it may seem weird, but okay, so Jim is saying a freelancing career, ability to improve my current opportunities, including speeding up the data discovery process and simplifying visualization for business stakeholders. So that's all good. But again, guys, if you can, and you don't have to like type it back in, but see if you can be selfish. It's like, hey, what would that give me? What would that give you, Jim? Right? I mean, so yeah, think about that. Andrew is saying, I love working with numbers, solving business problems. Oh, I love that. Fulfillment. Yeah, sense of fulfillment. Love that. Great. So you get the idea. And I think that's important. It's important to keep that in mind because it's, man, I'm 40 plus, and you look back on your life and you're like, what was I doing? What was I chasing? Yeah. So for me, again, 40 plus was this kind of defining moment, and I settled on this. Now, of course, some people, I'm glad I didn't get those answers because they tick me off, which is, oh, I just want to retire, Avi. Yeah, I'm ready for retirement, right? Oh, I just want to sit on a beach and sip a drink. I don't believe that. I don't think anybody wants that, right? We want something more out of our lives. We want our lives to matter. So when I really thought about it, then this is what came up for me. I want to do what I love. And guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, think about, and I know in my corporate job, the part that I love doing was probably 5%. So, but yeah, close your eyes and remember the time when you were dialed in, when you were doing something you loved. And you know how time flies, and it's an incredible feeling. And you know the small print there, do what you love and get really, really good at it. The funny thing is that if you do what you love, if that's not the 5%, if that's 95% of what you do, there's no way you cannot get good at it. It's automatic. And when you're doing what you love, push becomes pull, right? So again, I'm just going to use my life as an example. All of my life, I felt like I was pushing, right? And man, it was so hard. I was so tired. But when you focus on what you love, it feels like a pull. It feels like a force pulling you forward. And that not only doesn't drain you, it feels you filled with energy. So that's one thing that came up for me. And again, the other part, we don't want to sit on a beach and sip a drink. No, we want our lives to matter. I want me to matter, right? So, and maybe you do have to get a bit older to start thinking about this stuff. I don't know, but I think I look around and I see a lot of young people who inspire me as well. So I think we want to make an impact. It feels great to help others. Who here has shown a Power BI report to somebody who was not quite familiar with Power BI, and just loved their reaction? Isn't that awesome? When they go, whoa, right? When you take something which they were like engineering together with Excel copy paste, and then you make it like this. That feels so good. We want to do that. We want to help others. We want to make an impact. And of course, some of you talked about this. I think we would all like some freedom. And sometimes think about it as that just control over what I'm doing. And of course, and I may sometimes so we do run a program which trains Power BI consultants. So sometimes I talk in those terms, but guys, the truth is that this world has changed. The lines between employees and consultants is very blurred, right? So the we both need that. We both so um, for a big part of my career, I was in the backseat of my car. I'm giving away my whole presentation here. All right, so life of freedom. Let's carry on. All right, great. Let me read. Jim is saying financial freedom, I suppose, and governing my own time and not being employed. Good. Awesome, guys. Right. So yeah. So I talked about this already, but think about it. Right. So if your goal is retirement, if your goal is sitting on a beach sipping a drink, I would question that, because guys, come on, if you give it a chance, work can be your biggest source of fulfillment and joy, right? So so if we and yeah, and we spend more time at work than our family. I mean, who do we, I mean, I love my family, right? But yeah, that's not where my time is going. So why have that big chunk of our life, of ourselves, totally suck? Why have to bear through it? And then, yeah. So the world that I want to live in, I want to eliminate two things. One, the Monday blues. Why should we blue on Monday? Who said that? Who decided that Mondays need to be blue? They don't need to be blue. What if you were as excited on Monday as a Friday? And of course, the other one is thank God it's Friday. No, we should be thanking God every day that, oh, we're alive and life is wonderful, right? So, and that is possible, I think. All right, cool. So, yeah, what if? So I think all of these are possible. So great. So you have your goals and hold on to those goals. Those are important. We want in our life, and sometimes what we do is I know I used to do it. I would like, but do I like deserve it? Am I capable? I'm not. And no, mate, you deserve it and you are capable. Trust me, right? So yeah. So but the question is, how do we get there? How do we get there? So this is where, so we're gonna cover it in three parts. One is what not to do. That's mostly my story. And then we'll talk about what's the first step to start. And that's the most important one. That's the one that most people either miss or mess up. I didn't even know about this step for 15 plus years in corporate America. And yeah, and then we'll have a story about ice axe. Yay. All right. So part one, story mostly about me. Don't do what I did. So yeah, most of you, I hope, would know me from my YouTube channel. So even though now probably millions have watched my videos on YouTube, and even though now have, oh, there's a little bit of echo. I've am I don't know how, okay, I think it's gone. All right. So even though now I have helped thousands of people um, learn Power BI through my Learn Power BI program, and I work with a smaller group in small group program for training and coaching Power BI consultants. But that's not where I started. And I started here, and man, this was a painful period. So this is when my daughter was born. But right around the time when she was about to be born, I was laid off. And that was the hardest time of my life. It was just painful. And then I landed a job at Microsoft, but um, really struggled before that. And when I went through the layoff, it's hard because we identify so much with what we do that becomes our identity, right? I mean, think about how you generally introduce yourself, right? I mean, you go to a party, even like a personal social occasion, and say, hey, hey, Avi, I'm a business analyst at whatever company or something like that, right? So when I lost my job, it felt like I lost my identity, and I had to ask. I found myself asking this scary question, and again, I was kind of turning 40, and that was a big thing for me too. So I struggled, but in a way, I'm thankful because I'm glad I asked that question. Who am I? Because you're not your job, that's for sure. So I landed a job at Microsoft, but then I was the layoff experience was so painful that I didn't want to repeat it. I wanted to make myself layoff proof. Like, I'm never gonna be laid off again. I'm gonna show it to them. So I I worked really long hours, and uh, yeah, I didn't really. I definitely missed out on spending time with my daughter, and you don't get that back. You don't get that back. So yeah, that was me. But then, of course, I kind of started asking, like, where did I go wrong? I was actually really good in school and studies, and I feel that hurt me more than it helped me, because that's the challenge. The rules in education, they don't apply in the workplace. I don't know if you realize that yet, but that's a big problem, because I was like, oh yeah, I did so good in school. I'm just gonna do the same thing, and like, yeah, it didn't work. Okay. Um, so and really, there is a line which I love, which is we teach we teach what we need to learn. I've always found that beautiful. So, in a way, I've really understood my own journey and my mistakes only when I started teaching and really coaching others on their career, on starting as a consultant and so forth. And the lesson, and again, seems so painful now, because now when I look back, that's what they say, right? Hindsight is 2020. But so I need to be kind to myself. But yeah, when I look back, I can see plain as day that this is what my life was. I was simply in the back seat of the car. I was not in control. So I was sitting in the back seat of the car, and if the car went left, and of course, this is the company I'm working with. So if my manager changed, oh, we're going this way. If a reorg happened, oh, we're going that way. And once in a while, I would get out of the car and get into another car, like a shinier, newer car, and I'll feel like, yeah, right. But man, I mean, pretty soon, usually an year into it, I was like, shit, nothing really changed, because I got out from one back seat to another back seat. But yeah, it didn't really change that much. I'm still not in control. So I feel that's what I would like. So when I did leave my job at Microsoft, it felt like I had the steering wheel in my hands. And I will say, guys, that this is not for everybody, because it's scary. There are going to be white knuckle moments. And yes, you can drive your car into a ditch, but I would not trade it for anything else. I never ever want to go back in backseat. And here's another thing, I'd mentioned that earlier. This is not about employee or consultant. I have seen consultants who don't have any control, right? I mean, who are so I talk about the data dungeon, which is overworked and underappreciated. Underappreciated is really code for underpaid. Or I don't know. I mean, you can be sometimes making a lot of money but still not be in control. So it's not about money. Um, Maybe under, well, you're not feeling fulfillment, something like that, right? But yeah, so I've seen consultants who are like that, and I've seen employees who are very firmly in control of the career. So it's about something else. So that was my story, though. That was, again, the mistake that I did, where I wasn't in control. So that's one. And of course, as I said, we teach what we need to learn. So I kind of learned it as I started coaching these amazing people. So are you guys ready for part two? Type in a yes. Let me hear from one person at least. All right. Yay. David is ready. Okay, cool. All right. David is giving me the go ahead. So let's talk about this. So, guys, think about this. Think about whichever domain you're in. And if you're like an IT and tech person, we'll talk about you in a second. you know, but or we'll talk about it later. But most people that I work with, that I come around with, they are on a specific business domain. I had worked through a few different ones. I had probably, yeah, finance is where I spent most of the time, but I worked with sales team marketing. But maybe you have some specific business domain, right? So again, business domain, don't think technical. So let's say you're a finance person, or you're in sales, or in marketing, or operations, or in support. And again, if you're tech, we'll talk about that in a second. Think about people in that business domain, and imagine all of the people who are in that same domain. So if you're in sales, line up everybody, every single salesperson in the world, line them up. Imagine that. There are probably millions of people just lined up, right? All of them. Now, what I'll say is that very few of them know about Power BI. Now, I know it seems like, but doesn't everybody know? But guys, this is what I call the Power BI bubble. I remember going to a in-person Power BI conference when they still used to happen, and I was talking to others, and I'm like, "Oh shit! I mean, nobody needs, you know, nobody needs me because everybody seems to be doing great." So yeah, so we kind of surround ourselves with our kind of people, which is good, right? Birds of a feather flock together. But if you step out, there are so many companies and so many people who are still stuck in the Stone Age. So yeah, so there are not that many people who know about Power BI, but even if they did, it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why. Even if they knew about Power BI, they don't know Power BI, right? The people who know Power BI, or I would say 1%, maybe even less, because not, you know, a lot of people that I come across, they're either using Power BI as uh, 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 as PowerPoint, right? I mean, visuals and fancy stuff. I mean, they don't understand where the strength of the thing is. They don't understand modeling. They don't, right? They don't understand modeling. They don't, yeah, they don't understand the stuff under the hood. They just, I call it modeling by design, or sorry, I call it modeling by accident or dashboard by accident. They just throw stuff together. That's not knowing Power BI. So the people who know Power BI really understand and create a model with love, right? And then create visualization with understanding the visualization best practices. A lot of visualization that I see, oh God, they're like um, so offensive to me, really, because they're glaring. They're like they have these shadows and these floating elements, and I'm like, oh, please educate yourself, right? So most people, even if they know about Power BI, they don't know Power BI. So these folks are very rare. Now, the good news is it's not hard to gain that knowledge. And again, I loved Augustine's code. Knowledge is free, right? I mean, so you can just go for that, right? So, um, right. So that percentage is low, but let's not focus on the tech because that's not what it's about. So now, regardless of the domain you're in, if you are in that 1%, if you are the salesperson who knows Power BI, now the you stand head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd. Think about a team of 20 people, 20 salespeople, and one of them knows Power BI, really knows, understand the modeling, understand visualization best practice, all of this sort of stuff, right? You realize that they're going to look like a superstar every single time, every single year. And of course, data gives you that edge in every step in customer acquisition, retention, everything. That salesperson is obviously going to outperform everybody else. And not only their performance would be good, they would be impacting others as well, inspiring them, of course, I mean, helping them with their reports and stuff. So they'll be making an impact. And of course, they they would be or should be rewarded for that, right? So it becomes so easy when you become that 1%. So really the the key is to get this focus, this niche, right? So in tech, maybe it's time now to talk about tech. So guys, if you only focus on tech, that's like building a house on sand or trying to climb a sand dune. For one, who here is really tired of trying to keep up with the Power BI monthly updates? Man, I gave up years ago. I mean, it's just exhausting, and that's just Power BI. Imagine the whole thing's like, oh my God, it's like climbing on a sand dune. You take 2 steps forward, you're gonna slide 1 down or 3 down some days. Even if you make it to the top, you wake up the next morning and the sand dune has moved. So you can get a job in tech, but man, building your career on tech is risky. Can be done, but you can also win the lottery. So, I mean, it's do you want to, yeah, do you want to take a chance on your career, or a fallen approach really works? So, if you are focused on your career, you have to have the business focus. So, Power BI, tech skills are great, but you got to have a business focus. So this is almost the right answer, though. Almost the right answer. Not quite. Just almost there. So let me introduce you to one of our members in our Power BI consultant program. This is Frank van Delden. He is based out of Netherlands, and he was working in healthcare. He was in the finance team or supporting the finance team, and of course, so a lot of people ask me the biggest question is like, Avi, can I become a Power BI consultant? Like, do I have it in me? And often the simple answer is that if you have helped one company, you can help others. So often people are like obsessed about this idea of getting the first client. And I like to break that chain of thought because I want them to think about their existing or last employer as their first client, because that's always the case. Frank's first client was the company where he was working as an employee, right? And he built them, he served them, he created reports and all that sort of stuff. And again, if you can help one company, why do you think you can't help others? Of course you can. Of course you can. But I also realize that there is this mental battle that we fight, the not good enoughness. That's why we run a training and coaching program, because sometimes you need a coach to kind of get you through that part. But that was Frank's journey, and he left that and he started helping other companies. So his name of the consulting business is Control Over Reports. So guys, there's this whole line of discussion on working for a consultant company versus being an independent consultant. I'll just speak about it really quickly, but we can dive deeper into it in questions if you like. I feel that working for a consulting company isn't that different than being an employee. I mean, sometimes the terms are different. Like in US, there's whole this W-2 and 1099 and all this sort of stuff. But frankly, that's just logistics, right? I mean, in effect, you are working as an employee. And again, so it's not about employer consultant. It's about getting in control of your life. We'll talk about that a bit. But the kind of folks that we train, coach, and of course what I do in my life and what Frank is doing, we're independent consultants. So yeah, we love that, right? So it's very liberating, right? So he's out there, he's helping people control reports, and of course he's focused on his niche. So his niche is really amazing because it's so specific. Like we have other folks in the program, like there's Eamon Kelly. He focuses on finance, which is great. But the odd thing about niching down is the more specific you get, the more powerful it becomes. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but yeah. So Frank is doing great because he's not just finance; he's healthcare finance. So he has, again, helped his own company and then went out there, started talking to other healthcare finance teams like, yep, this is what I did. I can do it for you. And again, another thing that people get stuck on is like, oh, I don't want to sell. Guys, trust me, everybody is tired of being sold to, aren't you? I mean, how many ads do we see? Probably hundreds, I don't know, in a day or something, right? So Facebook scrolling through all of that sort of stuff. So the best way to sell these days is not to sell. Just to share your story. And that's what Frank does. Again, the story is so simple. It's like, yep, this is what I did for my customer. I can do it for you too. Simple as that. And then you go from there, right? And again, some of you talked about this, it's life of freedom, fulfillment. So that's what I like about this group, that it's not about, so I hate the term work-life balance because it makes me feel like I'm on a freaking tightrope, right? Think about it, work-life balance. It makes you feel like I'm on a tightrope. and with this big giant pole trying to balance myself. And work-life balance implies that if I'm leaning more towards work, then I'm taking away from my life, from my personal life. And oh dear, if I spend too much time with my family, then I'm taking time away from my work. That's freaking BS. It doesn't work that way. When we are fulfilled at work, we are better dads, better husbands, everything, right? And when the family stuff is going good, then we are better at work. We're not two different people. We're the same person. So we get to live a whole life, not these sectioned out like work Avi, oh personal Avi. So yeah, it doesn't. We're not two people. So Frank, yeah, he loves to go cycling. I don't know. Oh, he does have a photo. Yeah. Oh God. So I think who's the Wim Hof who popularized the ice bath thing. So Frank is into that, and of course he's in a group. He's like encouraging others to do that. I did try cold showers for a while. All right, so that's Frank. But of course, so I said that Power BI plus business focus is almost the right answer, not quite. We're very close, and really, it's just the right thing to do is to put business focus first, then Power BI. Business focus plus Power BI. I'm going to give you more examples. You've already met Frank. So these are our Power BI consultant program members who presented on the Power BI conference, and they're amazing. So Greg Berg, so you'll see the pattern here. He helps specialty coffee companies by using Power BI. Based out of Canada. Andrew Ali, based out of UK. He helps faith-based nonprofits by using Power BI. Frank Van Delden, we've already met him. Netherlands, helps healthcare finance teams by using Power BI. Ian Bowman, US, he helps construction companies by using Power BI. Raul Jimenez, he helps large warehouses by using Power BI. He's based out of Costa Rica. And another example, Rakesh Suke, he's based out of South Africa. He helps customer contact centers by using Power BI. So guys, think about this, right? So again, if you build your career on tech, it's like building something on sand or trying to climb that sand dune. It's hard. It's exhausting. Can it be done? Yes. But I think there is an easier way. If you develop this business focus, right? So when these guys are going out, like Greg Berg, he really understands a specialty coffee company, right? He really understands the challenges that they go through. He understands how complicated roasting is. He understands how valuable it is, right? He understands how when they're roasting that specialty batch of coffee, what are the inputs coming in, the orders coming in. He knows so much detail of his niche, right? All of that is packed in his head, right? And that gives you a strong career because for one of the challenges if you base it on tech is that tech always gets commoditized. And I'm from India, so I guess I can say that the Indian folks jump in and then you have you go to what is the site, fiverr.com, right? Fiverr.com, check it out. And it's got, and just search for Power BI. And they're like people for like, oh, $25, I'll build a Power BI dashboard. So you start getting people who know more than you, who are smarter because they spend all this time just studying tech, right? And who are willing to work harder. And the last whammy is for less money. So it's just so hard to compete. So over time, so again, tech is risky. But Greg Berg has no worry. I mean, those guys can't even touch him, right? So he walks into a coffee company, he's saying, hey, I understand what your problem is. I'm going to solve your problem. So he's focused on business problems, not tech is just a means to an end. Again, nobody wants Power BI. They think they do. Sometimes they say that. It's like, yeah, we want a Power BI. No, they want to solve their problems. So Greg meets them at that layer. And of course, and this is why this is such a good move because, hey, guys, I was at a Power BI versus Tableau user group meeting once, and there was like I was representing Power BI and there was a Tableau expert. It ended up being pretty friendly, and the person said something so beautiful, so simple. He said, "I've been in this industry for 20 years. The tools that were here 20 years ago, they're not here now, and of course, 20 years from now we'll have different tools. So and of course the change of pace has accelerated. We would all agree in tech. So who knows? And that's another challenge in tech, right? Again, that sand dune thing. It's like Power BI is great, but we can't see. We can't really see what's around the corner. I mean, you can sometimes see glimpses, but the thing is that Greg doesn't necessarily have to keep up with that a little bit, but if things change fundamentally, Power BI suddenly becomes obsolete or whatever, then he can just change that last part. He's like, oh, I still have specialty coffee company. I still have many years of experience and connections and all of that in this industry. Oh, I just now use, I don't know, something else, new tool, right? Okay, cool. All right. So let's we're gonna do a workshop in the end as well. And I would like you guys to come up with your niche, your focus. But story about ice axes. So hey, we forget that Apple started off in a basement building computers for hobbyists when the big market was the commercial computing, which was controlled by IBM. But they went for this minuscule, some would say non-existent market, right? I mean, they kind of created it with this hobbyist computer geek, right? That's who they wanted to serve, the one guy, the personal one. The personal computing business, again, the market was so small. It was so small. Google was just a search box. Amazon sold books. Facebook was just a network for Harvard students. Adidas sold spiked shoes for track athletes. That's all they did. And one of my favorite brands, REI, they sold ice axes. We forget that all big stories start small. All big stories start small. And so, but we resist it. So yeah, folks, that's my message to you. Don't be a Power BI professional or a Power BI consultant. Focus on that niche. Be a business professional who just, happens to leverage Power BI. All right, cool. So hey, again, I like to make this interactive. So I would like you guys to step through and define your niche. We'll do that in a second. But the timing of this event is kind of good, I think, because we are right now about to kick off a whole 3-part workshop. We call it the Power BI Consultant Launchpad, and what we cover here today is mostly part 1, a little bit of part 2, but yeah. So that one is kicking off soon. If you are interested, you can go to learnpowerbi.com. That'll just get you the workshop. Yeah, it's a 3-part, 3-day workshop thing, so it's gonna let you kind of go deeper with me on these topics. So again, if interested, go there. So again, we kind of covered the first part today, but that's happening tomorrow. So yeah, just go to learnpowerbi.com. You can also definitely follow me on LinkedIn. That's oddly where I'm most active these days, even though I kind of my biggest presence is on YouTube. All right, are you guys ready for workshop? Okay, hope you are. Let's do this. So the starting point is simple. Now niching down, so we know about. So I sometimes let's take a step back. So sometimes I talk about Power BI and the other day somebody was asking, like, how do I estimate the time? Like, this client is asking me, like, how, give me an estimate of time. And what I said was that when that conversation happens, I try to educate them a little bit. I try to say that Power BI is not your old school BI. It's a new age BI, and it needs a new way of doing things. The old way, where you spent millions of dollars, took 6 months, a year or longer, and then got a shitty product that nobody even used. All they used was export to Excel. Those days are gone. If you want that, well, use a time machine, go back. This is not it. Power BI is agile BI, right? So we don't do that. We don't spend write down requirements document, take a month to collect all the reports. Oh, we have 630 reports to migrate. Guys, don't do that. That's the old way. It needs to be an agile way. So you need to move in quick cycles and so forth. So it's agile BI. And in a way, it's called like peeling the onion. You go deeper and deeper, and it's an endless onion. BI never ends, which is awesome. That's great for job security, right? Yeah, I've never seen a company go, oh, we've done BI, check. No, it never works that way. So the thing is that the journey about becoming a consultant and mastering these steps is also agile and it's also endless. I left my job in Microsoft at 2014. I've been running my business for a while. I'm still I still go deeper and deeper. Every year we launch the workshop that I talked about, the Power BI Consult Launchpad. I go back to the drawing board and I focus on the niche and can I flesh it out? Can I really get in the head of my customer? What are the problems and so forth, right? So it's a bigger journey, but the starting point is simple. The starting point where I want everybody to start is just really this: fill in the blanks. Can't get simpler than this. Where you say, I help fill in the blanks, like business niche. I'll help this solve their problems with Power BI. Of course, you saw other examples earlier. I just put one here. I help project managers in aerospace manufacturing. So this we can see, the more specific you get, the better it is. But again, if it's generic, if it's just like, oh, I help project managers solve their problems with Power BI, that's great too. If you say, I help aerospace manufacturing companies solve their problems with Power BI, that's still good. But again, if you can get more specific, that's great. Oh, Juan is already as an example. I help restaurants, food business solve their man. So guys, this is awesome. So see what Juan did. He took it to the next step already, which is awesome. So guys, yeah, I mean, some of this stuff you're gonna feel it already. Juan is feeling it because see what he did. He said, I help restaurants, food businesses, but he also added like the results that he gets. So I help restaurants, food business. I actually, yeah, he's focusing on problems. So yeah, great, love it, Juan. This is awesome, guys. So I help restaurants, food business solve their control growth and strategy problems by using Power BI. If I may go back a little bit. So of course, inside our program, we do kind of the same exercise. We keep going deeper and deeper with the members. For example, with Raul Jimenez, the one from Costa Rica who helps warehouses. One line that he uses is he helps large warehouses figure out and keep track of their slow-moving and fast-moving inventory items. Think about it. When he's meeting, let's say you run into a warehouse executive at a conference or something, or elevator, whatever, right? And he's, hey, what do you do? I was like, oh yeah, I help them figure out their slow moving and fast moving. I mean, do you feel it? I mean, he would have their attention right away because that's one of the biggest problems that warehouses have. It's like, oh God, yeah, they don't even know. They don't know which items are slow moving, which are fast moving, and it costs them a lot of money for both of those examples. So that was great. Yeah, let's see. So folks, yeah, I would love for everybody to participate. See if you can type in. Now I'm going to go to the next one. Maybe that'll help you out a little bit. Oh, what happened here? Oh, hold on, guys. This was supposed to be. So again, a reminder that it is not technical focus. So sometimes in the past, people ask me, "Oh, Avi, but it looks like Azure. Is it Power BI? Is it Power Apps? Is it M? Is it DAX?" it's not those. Those are again tools that you should know, but they're a means to an end. So business focus, I help them with this technology, and really, I don't care if you're not a Power BI person. Maybe you're a SQL guy or Azure person, right? So you can always plug in the technology. And so maybe Juan had the easy route, which is sometimes you look back at your career and you're like, oh, yeah, all my life I've been doing this, or most of my life, most of my corporate life, or that's my most recent experience, and I love doing that. So that's the easy route. And so that you get right away. So Juan seemed to have that one. So folks, others, I want to hear from you too. And maybe you are pausing because it is not an easy choice for you. Anybody here who has who wants to type in, who wants to respond to the niche, but they're like, Avi, I don't know how to choose. Type in a Y or a yes if somebody is in that. I know I was, so I talked about my when I looked at my journey. Oh my God, I have worked in pretty much everything, and it's can be a challenge. as you progress in your career. Anybody with a multiple choice problem? Okay, well, yeah, okay, cool. So, so folks, if you, I'll give you a simple matrix that I use for if there is multiple choice. So what I do is I draw a chart of, let's say, either my interest, like how interested I am in this, and or experience, something like that, right? And then over on the y-axis, you want basically opportunity, how valuable, lucrative this can be. Is it a growing industry, something like that, right? And of course, you draw the quadrant, oops, and then you just, if you have, so I had worked in finance for a big amount of time, so experience was high. Maybe that's there. I had worked in operations, but man, I was not interested in it that much, so maybe that's low. So yeah, so you end up here, and of course you wanna focus on the top quadrant. You want to focus on the ones where your interest and experience is high, and they're good opportunities too. And really think about this. I mean, it's top quadrant, so there are no really bad choices. What I would encourage is that don't spend forever trying to figure it out. Just pick one niche and try it out. Just try it out. I always say, give it 6 months. Give it 6 months. See how it lands. See if it gets you new clients. See if it gets you a new job. And again, this rule applies to both employees and consultants. Okay, so we got a few more responses. Hopefully that matrix kind of helped you guys. So David is asking, it's always been a challenge to me from a marketing standpoint. How do I reach my target? Good. David, would love to hear, who do you think is your target market? So of course, you know, one of the classic things that I hear from this is who here was thinking this? It was, oh, yeah, that's great, but I don't want to narrow down. I don't want to miss out on opportunities. And I did. That was my gut reaction. And so again, folks, by the way, so the Power BI consultant program that I mentioned, training and coaching, that only happened because when I left Microsoft, trust me, I was lost. All I had done was a corporate job all my life, but I stumbled into what's called a mastermind group, which put me with these amazing coaches and other members who gave me this stuff, who helped me solve this stuff, and now I'm just kind of paying it forward. So Arthur had a great response. I help human resource procurement, and again, that would have been good enough. Human resources procurement and finance solve their identified issues using Power BI. Great. So I'm not sure if that's so again. So guys, it is counterintuitive, and most of the business lessons, the most valuable business lessons I've learned are all counterintuitive. It's kind of bizarre. So yeah. So when you do this, oh, I help this and this and this, I help, right? It actually waters it down a little bit. You're going to be more powerful if you can pick one. And again, use the matrix that I talked about to see if you can pick one. And again, just experiment with it. Just see how can your life be if you just focus on that audience for the next 6 months, right? If you connected with those companies or people working in those companies in that specific area for the next 6 months, if for the next 6 months, so on LinkedIn, I'm talking about LinkedIn, right? So if you connected with that specific one, so again, right? So if Arthur picked just one, either human resources or procurement or finance, and just try to connect with those people on LinkedIn, and whenever Arthur put out social posts, they were all around that niche. And yeah, you build that, and you build that authority. Yeah, a lot of construction. Oh, great. So hey, you are gonna love. So guys, if you do sign up for for uh the uh, God the I'm trying to say yeah the the consultant launchpad program. I don't know why that took so long. Then it gives you access to a lot of the presentations that happened in a conference by different members focusing on different industries. So Greg Bear, pretty much all the whole list you saw. So Greg Bear talking about specialty coffee industry, Andrew Ollie, faith-based nonprofits, and Ian Bowman actually helps construction companies. So David, what I'm going to do is well, how do I do this? Share. There we go. God, that was the weirdest experience. Yeah, so Ian Bowman, his focus on construction, and all the ones that worked. Oh God, YouTube challenge. That's funny. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that is Ian Bowman's how he kind of worked with construction projects, but that's good. So let me see. Let me come back here. So David was saying he's focused on construction companies. So yeah, I'll share what Ian is doing. Of course, he has helped one construction company, but then let me go back. Sorry, guys. So here I talked about that in the workshop we're going to focus on the 5 steps, and I'll just give you guys another link for the 5 steps. But in the workshop, we'll cover that in a lot more detail. So if you are interested, then you definitely want to join. Okay, so define your niche is the first step, if you hadn't guessed that already. And then this is what we take or all of our members through. So where are the steps? So step 1 is you define your niche. So you'll say, you know what, I'm going to focus on construction companies. And here, the more specific you can get, the better. So of course, with Ian, we have kind of worked with that back and forth. We have like what kind of construction companies, what size, what location, what kind of construction, like are they doing commercial buildings, are they doing landscaping, the style of ownership, right? So it's I know it seems odd. It's like, no, that's like really limiting myself. But the more targeted you get, the more powerful you become. So once you define your niche, and again, it's not like you do it in one day. It happens sometimes over years. For me, it's this been a journey. Every year I refine my niche, kind of get more dialed in, and so forth. And of course, at some point, so usually the key is if you feel like you've nailed your niche, you're the number 1 person or in the top 3 or top 10, then you can expand. Again, remember the story of the ice axes, the REI, Adidas, and so forth. They nailed that niche, and that opened up other doors for them. So yeah, you gotta kind of nail that niche, and before you start thinking bigger. So dial it in till you nail it, and then you can say, okay, cool. Now let's do the next thing. Okay. So step 1 is Ian did that, and then step 2 is he created a Pillarstone story, which we go into a lot more detail inside the program, and we will cover in the workshop. But the idea is simple. The idea is simply that, yeah, look, this is what I've done with the other companies. This is what your competitors are doing. I love talking like that. It's like, yeah, the guy next door who's competing with you or something, right? It's like, yeah, this is what your competitors are doing. Wouldn't you want to do this too? So yeah, and he just said, yep, you can have that too. So he just go around other companies doing that. And yeah, so once you define your niche, you create a Pillarstone story, and you consistently build the messaging around that same story, and it's magnetic. It just can't help get more clients. The good part about consulting, as at least the style of consulting we do, is that most of the members in a program, they all say that you only need a handful of clients to live really comfortably. Sometimes 2 or 3. So that's the good part. You don't need that many. Terrific. So folks, let me see if there was another bit that or of course, if you have any questions, then let me know. Oh, talked about this. And maybe one last question that I'll address is this part, which we will say, like, what if I make a mistake? What if I choose the wrong niche? What if I don't like it? And what I say is, it's not like getting married. Yeah, you can change a niche. There's some rules, I guess. So if you're changing a niche every month, then that's probably your fear kicking in. So I talk about niching down. Who here goes skiing? Type in a yes if you go skiing. So I've been skiing with my son earlier, and now I ski with my daughter. And man, even now, so Augustine skis. Even now, when I head on a black slope, I get out of the ski lift, and I'm standing at the top, and my heart is just going. Yeah, I mean, I can manage green and blue, no problems, but black, I have to think about it. So my heart is pumping. Mirko does. Roman does. Right. So, snowboarding. I don't know if this would apply at snowboarding. Maybe it would. So I'm at the top of the black run, and my heart is pumping, and then I kind of go in. Right. I go in, and I'm skiing down. Now every nerve and fiber in my body, it's pulling me back, because that's our natural reaction, right? I mean, if you're falling, right? Imagine sometimes, when you're sleeping and you end up rolling off a bed or at the edge, your body just jerks you. It's like, oh, you can't fall. So the instinctive reaction is that the body wants to pull you back. But anybody who skis know what happened. If you pull yourself back, you end up on your bum. You end up falling. The right way to ski, and what you need to do against your instincts, is you actually need to lean forward. You got to lean in, and that's when you're balanced and centered, and that's when you can ski comfortably. So guys, yeah, this is what niching down feels like. You're going to resist it. You're going to like, no, but you need to lean in. So if you are changing your niche every month, it's probably that fear kicking in, which is going to have you ending up on your butt every single time. You don't want that. But so what I always say, again, I use that 6-month milestone, and frankly, 6 months, it works. And again, it's not like marriage. You can evolve it. People have evolved it. I call it pivoting. So because again, it's not based out of fear. It's a conscious decision. Greg Berg, one of the members that I used an example of, he actually did start with aerospace manufacturing. He's got a really cool, interesting story that you should check out. Yeah. So, and then he pivoted to specialty coffee. But it's, in a way, niching down is a skill. Once you learn that skill, then you can, kind of focus on one niche, try it out. If it doesn't work, well, it's not like you have to start over from scratch, because now you understand how niching down works. Now you understand that how you get in the customer's head, how you create messaging around it, how you create a story around it. So you take all that knowledge and now you try it for something else. So yeah. All right, cool, guys. So, hey, it's been awesome hanging out with you. I don't have anything else except, of course, as I said, if you are interested in diving deeper, then just go to learnpowerbi.com. And that event kicks off tomorrow, but the part 1 is mostly the part we already covered. But, part 2 and 3 should still be interesting.
It was perfect hearing it, and it's a really interesting training, I would say. Also, I don't know, maybe some of you would like to join, so just ping Avi and join. I think you have a lot of opportunities to learn how to establish yourself and how to be
become a consultant or be a better consultant.
Yeah, or hey, even become a better professional. I really believe that the core principles apply to everybody, right? I mean, it's about again getting that getting in the driver's seat, getting the steering wheel in your hands.
Yeah, that's I can completely agree with you. And the session was really a refresher. So after a lot of technical sessions and everything, it's really good to hear another perspective of the things. So it was perfect, Avi. So if you have any questions for Avi while we're still here, just unmute yourself, type in a chat, whatever. So if there are any, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, if somebody wants to unmute and chat, yeah, I always love that.
Everybody's shy, so yeah.
Hey, how much is it programming? That's yeah. I'll say participate in the event. I'll promise you that you're gonna get great value out of that. That the event is free, and it is gonna move you closer towards your goal. And we will share more information about the program. I did have a question for you, Augustine. It's like, how do you guys manage to run this? You said every week, is it? God, that's yeah. What's the secret to that?
It was a fun thing. So I started this user group a year ago now, and the initial idea was to have it once a month. And then slowly we ended up, I cannot explain how, in a week by week sessions, and lots of interest by the speakers, lots of interest by participants. So I can be proud that we are one of the world's most content productive groups throughout the last year.
Yeah, it's
And
incredible.
I think we'll try to keep the pace, although it's taking me, I don't know, enormous amount of time next to my daily work.
Wow. Hey, you're doing more. You mentioned the data jazz thing with Nikolai. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's
incredible.
starting in 2 weeks, so it will be an action-packed year, I would say.
Oh, awesome, guys. Oh, that's really inspiring, man. Just really inspiring. All right, guys, thank you so much. Loved hanging out with you. And again, follow me on LinkedIn. Connect with me there. We'll see you guys around.
Thanks, Avi. Thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of the day. And for everybody else, so thank you for participating. Thank you for joining. Recording will be available in a few days on our YouTube channel, and on Meetup you can find all the upcoming sessions. And have a nice week, have a nice evening, and the rest of the day.
Take care, guys. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.